All right. Hey, so I did a video called The Law of Vibration. And in that video, I talked about kind of how maybe working harder wasn't the issue, right? But it was the energy of what was happening, the energy and the frequencies of our thoughts, our patterns, our behaviors, all of that stuff that was actually kind of probably possibly creating the ripple effects of unwanted consequences in our life. And in that video, I started to kind of tie in the law of vibration and how it works with the Akashic Records. And I ended up running out of time, right? I don't want the videos to be super, super long. And so I decided that that was actually worthy of its own worthy of its own video. And then I would just come in and do a new video. So here we are. And I am going to talk about how using the Akashic Records, or how tapping into the Akashic Records, or how you can use the Akashic Records. There we go. How you can use the Akashic Records to help you understand this principle of the law of vibration and kind of what we're putting out. And past understanding it, how you can use the records to help you shift the energies and the things that are going on with you. All right. So you always know I'm going to start with the big picture overview, right? I can't make the assumption that everyone that is here has been with me for a long time. So, big picture overview: the Akashic Records are an energetic storehouse of every past, present, future deed, right? So, all of our thoughts, actions, everything from the original point of our soul's inception, and all future possibilities exist, and everything on that continuum, okay, exists within the realm of the Akashic Records. And we have the ability to go in, tap in, access this information to help us create the life that we want, right? Part of us tapping in and using the Akashic Records in that way is to understand where there are energies or patterns or behaviors that are causing us to be stuck or out of alignment. So understanding the law of vibration, right, which says that everything is vibrating at a particular energy or frequency, is also actually a part of how we're able to access the Akashic Records, right? That's again much deeper conversation, y'all. I know because I love love learning, and two, because I love taking the woo out of stuff, right? Although I'm highly spiritual and believe that, you know, things that like we believe it because we believe it, right? And that is simply enough. I also, when I started working with the Akashic Records, really started to become absolutely enamored with kind of this idea of quantum everything, quantum entanglement, quantum physics, quantum, like all of the stuff really just kind of like imprinted. So that's a whole nother conversation. But back to this. So understanding that everything is energy, right? Law of vibration says that everything is vibrating at a particular energy or frequency. And understanding that the Akashic Records is an energetic field that holds every past, present, future thought and possibility. Then you can understand, or you can kind of start to see, right? Even if it isn't like snapping for you like this yet, you can kind of start to see how using this particular modality can really start to help you shift how we are looking at the things and the things that we are vibrating out. One of the major ways that you can use the Akashic Records is to understand why or how a particular vibration or a particular energy has attached itself or become a part of your ethos, right? A part of your auric field, a part of your understanding, a part of the way that you live, think, and structure, and kind of move through life. What do I mean by that? If my I'm gonna use myself as an example. I was about to say an irrational fear, but it is not irrational. It is very rational. I have a fear that I've been able to work through and lessen over time. But I have a fear of like bees and wasps and anything that's in that family, right? And so when one approaches, or swarm, or whatever they do, right? when they attack, I know they're not really attacking, but when they appear in my space, without me consciously thinking, right, my body does this thing, right? I go into freeze, really is what I do. I go into freeze mode. And that's because there's a particular vibration that has set in as it relates to the trigger of the bee, wasp, hornet, whatever that is, right? Because through a trauma, through an event, something happened. It causes me to now, anytime I see that thing, the natural, like the way that thing imprinted in my body creates a vibration that automatically goes out, right? And regardless of what the bee is actually doing, the way that I am sending out my natural body's vibration towards that bee amplifies whatever is happening. That bee could have come and gone in a split second, right? But I have caused so much trauma in my body by just the sight in the past, because again, I've worked through this, right? Caused so much trauma by just the sight of that bee that I've now impacted myself, right? So the vibration of the memory, the vibration of the thought from the original bee incident imprinted in me. And so now every time I see the bee, experience the bee, have a close encounter with the bee, that original imprint comes up. Okay. And then the vibration that I send out is amplified, is fear, right? And what happens? So now actually one of the ways that I counter it is when I see those animals. Are they animals? I don't know. When I see those things, I have to put myself in the space of like breathing, right? So I am actively dispelling the energy of fear, right? Because I recognize that me casting out the energy of fear actually heightens the likelihood of the things that I don't want to happen. So I have to go into my like, we're one, we're connected. It doesn't want to hurt me, right? All of these things. So I am actively now sending out the energy of love, and typically it just goes on about its business, right? But I say this because I gave you that really random story. Y'all know I love a good random story. Because, well, if I did not know what the original trauma was, I could go into my Akashic Records and understand why my reaction to this thing was happening every single time. I could understand where the energy of and where the imprint of this particular trauma was living within my space. I can use the Akashic Records to kind of dive into all of this. And then through that, identify the best ways to help what I call break up that kind of energetic imprint, right, within my system, right? What are the ways that I can now move forward from this so that I am not impacting and this energetic signature is different in my system, right? The other thing that I talk about if you've ever had like what I call the clearing and healing sessions with me, right? There's this idea where I give the example of using old school comics, right? Remember the comic books? Well, I guess comics are still the same. I just don't read comics, but in the comics, how the person has what I call the thought bubble, right? So it's like you see the person and then they have that little stick and then the bubble with the words in the bubble, right? So that's the thought bubble. Everyone can see what's in the thought bubble. The thought bubble is an energy that's being broadcasted out. It is a vibration. It is a frequency. It is a beacon, right? Whatever is in that thought bubble is broadcasted out. So if we take this back to the law of vibration, understanding that what's in that thought bubble, we're going to say that emotion, that fear, whatever that is, that negative belief, right? That limiting belief, whatever that is in that thought bubble and is being broadcasted out. Every time we broadcast a signal, what has to happen? It has to be matched, right? If there is a something that goes out, something has to come back in to match it. So if the frequency that I'm sending out, if the beacon that I'm sending out is the beacon of fear, the thing that has to come back to match it has to be a vibrational match for fear, right? If it's not a vibrational match, then it won't ever find it, right? That thing that's coming back will be, because it's looking for its like. It's looking for its like counterpart. Okay? So when we're broadcasting these beacons, know that what has to come back has to match it. And so within the Akashic Records, one of the things that I work to do and try to get my clients to do, and those people that I've taught to maneuver and work through their own Akashic Records, is one, understanding what is the energetic frequency of this particular thing. Once you understand the energetic frequency of this particular thing, now we can start to say, okay, how can I shift this energy, replace it with the energy that I want? So now the thing that I'm broadcasting is what I want. And the thing that has to come back to find it and match it is its match. Okay? So understanding the law of vibration simply says that everything is vibrating and operating at a particular frequency. Okay, that is it. And I talk about the universal laws can't operate in isolation, right? So it's like when somebody's talking about the law of attraction, it doesn't operate by itself. It operates in conjunction with all of these other universal laws. Okay, so the law of vibration, everything is vibrating, operating at a particular frequency. What that vibration, that frequency that's going out has to attract is like back to it. And the only way that we can create the life that we want is when we are aware of the vibrations that we're sending out. All right. So if you don't know how to access your Akashic Records, that's fine too, right? You can simply do meditation. You can connect with their higher self. You can ask questions. You can look at your life. You can look at your patterns, right? You can do all of those things and kind of also do a dive into understanding what the energies are, how they got there, why they got there, and then start to work to unravel them, right? For me, because this is what I do, the Akashic Records are a very easy way to kind of shorten the distance between the question and the answer. Okay. So that's my tag one video. I hope that this was helpful. Let me see if there's anything. Hold on. I have a note about something that I wanted to say. While I am doing this though, remember I have the Inner Alchemy class, which is a 6-week group coaching program. It is a small group, so I only take 10 people. And in this, we really dive in, like I said, into like all of these things, right? And it's about getting you kind of from where you are to this place that you want to be, learning to trust and tap into yourself, being able to hear yourself, being able to identify where those incongruencies are so that we are able to shift those vibrations and those energies that are not in alignment with you getting the things that you want to do. Okay, so this was the other thing that I wanted to add. In the Akashic Records, or kind of using the Akashic Records, one of the other things that you are able to do is just raise your overall energetic vibration. Right. In teaching the class, I often talk about that just by us entering and accessing the records that we are raising our vibration. And I won't go into the whole dynamics of that here, but understanding again that the records are an energetic field, right? And that particular energetic field is operating at a high vibration, right? The vibration that is within that is naturally high. And so in order for you, the person, right, in order for you to enter into that space, again, there has to be some type of vibrational match. And so in order for there to be a vibrational match, you have to elevate and raise your frequency in order to be able to reach the frequency that is here, right? That's how you are able to enter into the records. And then what happens? We close the records and then we go back to our normal everyday life, right? The records are doing what they're doing. But the repeated the repeated elevation that is happening every time you're accessing it leaves an imprint, right? Just like with all things, you can never interact with something and not take on a particular imprint or vibration from that thing that you interacted with, right? So similarly, when we are interacting with the records every single time, there's an imprint of that energy, that high vibrational energy that is happening and being kind of shifting our energetic field, which is raising our vibration, right? Which in turn makes it easier. Someone asked me once, you know, this idea of like, how do I live in this space of how do I live in this space of what they were saying, like this 5D space, this 5D reality? And I was like, one of the biggest things that I think that working in the records has taught me, and it's not even something that I have to be conscious of now, right? It's because my work in it, in and out of the records has, again, it's that impact, that vibrational impact. Is like now my natural way of being is to understand people and things from this place of soul level, right? Which allows me to not really have attachment to the outcome, have attachment to like my hurt or like ego. Like it's just the way that I've interacted with the record so much has imprinted on me in that way. So we're also here getting up on the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to get ready to go. But like I said, I hope that this video has been helpful. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts, anything about what you want me to talk about next. I would love to hear it. If you have your Akashic records, not if you have them. If you know how to access your Akashic records and you have that ability, I want you to go into your records and I want you to identify a particular energy or emotion or something that you're carrying that you would consider to be low vibration, right? So we talked about things that were low vibration, or like fear, doubt, hopelessness, depression, right? All of those are lower vibration energies. So something that you are energetically carrying where you feel that you're operating kind of in this low vibration frequency. And I want you, while in your records, to ask the questions about how this particular energetic imprint came into your reality, right? So how did this become the thought bubble that's now broadcasting out? Okay. You want to look at, is this past life? Is this present life? Is this ancestral, right? How did this particular imprint happen? And then how can you begin to shift this particular imprint? What do you need to do to release this energy and replace it with the new thing, right? So that's if you have your records, or if you have access to your records. If you do not, and you want to learn how to access your Akashic records, I got you too, right? So one, if you just want a free resource, you're like, I'm not really sure about this Akashic record thing, there's a guide that you could download for free, or I have a course, Akashic Records 101 course, which teaches you how to access your personal Akashic records. And it goes through a little bit of the science, teaching you the process of how to safely open and close, teaching you how to access or ask questions in an effective and an efficient way. All right. So hope this has been helpful. Again, I'm Dr. Toya Davis. Until next time, stay aligned, liberated, and abundant. Peace.